So the second of the mefarshim that we have to know is the machloket Rashi and Rabbeinu Hananel about pidyon. Basically, the Gemara brings the case of nafal tinok mir shagag uvashor v'kibul b'kanav. Baby falls off the roof. Some guy, his shore comes by. It's a shore muad, presumably, some guy's shore comes by. It doesn't matter if it's muad or tom, and catches the baby and basically catches the baby in his horn, and the baby dies. Very sad. So the question is whether you're chayav or patur. So the Gemara says that it would depend on whether or not you hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, or whether you hold like Chachamim in a case of pidyon. What they say about the case of pidyon is when your shor muad, this is when it matters whether it's muad or tam, kills somebody, when you have to pay pidyon in order for you not to be put to death. So it's unclear whether pidyon is the value of you or pidyon is the value of the person that died. So Chachamim said, or Tanakama says, that it's the value of the person who you killed, and Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says that it's the value of yourself. So now, what Rashi and Rabbeinu Hananel ask is, okay, so who holds like what? So one guy holds that you'd be chayav in a case of nafal tinok mir shagag uvashor v'kibul b'kanav, and one guy holds that you'd be patur. But who holds what? So basically, what Rashi says is that if you hold like Chachamim, then you'd be patur. If you hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, then you'd be chayav. Because in theory, you'd be chayav in both cases, but if you hold like Chachamim, then you sort of get off the hook because you'd be chayav nothing, right? You're chayav to pay the demei nizak, the value of the damaged, or the value of the one killed in this case, but the guy who got killed was thrown off a roof, so he would have died anyway. So from the time that he's thrown off a roof, he's kind of like a manatavira, like a broken clay, even though he's a person. So he has no value, and then you're not allowed to pay anything for pidyon. Whereas if you would hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, then presumably you'd be chayav because you still have value, whether or not baby has value. So what Rabbeinu Hananel says is no, it's the opposite. That if you hold like Chachamim, you'd be chayav, and if you hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, then you would be patur. Basically, the reason for this is it's not about like the value of what you're paying. It's about like what the idea behind pidyon is. So what Rabbeinu Hananel is saying, Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka thinks is that it's you basically murdered somebody, right? So in theory, you should have the death penalty. You're paying pidyon to get yourself out of the death penalty. That's why you're paying your own value. Whereas according to Chachamim, you're paying the value of the thing that you killed. So it's more like a nezek case where it's restitution. So if it's restitution, then you pay. Like, why wouldn't you pay? And you have to pay the value of the baby because the baby's still alive when you kill it. So you still have to pay. Whereas if you hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, where it's Tumei Mazik, you wouldn't be chayav mita here. In the last case, we just cleared up that in a case where you had caught it with your own sword, you wouldn't be chayav mita because of the right that we had about people whacking someone else one at a time until he dies. So you'd be patur. It's not a case of murder. So if it's not a case of murder, then you would have no reason to be chayav. And then because of that, then in case of Tumei Mazik, if you hold like Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, then you would be patur.